Parisyan. He may be a firefighter, but he will still feel the heat. The heat, Karo Parisyan against the Indiana firefighter, Chris Lights Out Lytle.
21-year-old Karo the Heat Parisyan trains under highest-end grappling master Parisyan and brings a very aggressive ground game into the octagon. In his UFC debut against Dave Strasser, Karo put on a clinic of spectacular throws and submissions. His last fight was an amazing battle against Nick Diaz that was a fantastic display of grappling technique and heart. He looks to build on that victory tonight.
I'm just going to go out there like I always do, try to take him down, ground and pound, submissions. If I have to strike, I'll strike. I don't care. You know, I'll throw haymakers, I'll throw left hooks, whatever. I'll try to clip him with something. And in real life, he's a firefighter. You know, he's still going to feel that heat. And unfortunately, it's going to be one fire he can't put out.
Chris Lights Out Lytle is a well-rounded veteran with 44 mixed martial arts fights on his record. While he is known as an excellent grappler, Lytle is also a professional boxer with a 12-1-1 record. After choking out Tiki and Ronald Judd in his last 2 UFC fights, Lytle is ready to make a serious run at title contention.
The thing I like about this fight is I just think it's just a great matchup due to the fact that I feel like he knows what I'm going to do, and I know what he's going to try and do. There's not going to be any surprises. It's not going to be guessing who outthought the other guy. He's going to try to do his thing. I'm going to try to do my thing, and whoever can impose their will on the other man is going to win the fight.
Coming up next, Karo the Heat Parisyan takes on Chris Lights Out Lytle.
I'll tell you what, this is a very, very nice young man. The Armenian who now fights out of North Hollywood, California. Young, polite, but extremely talented and extremely fired up, no pun intended, Joe, about tonight's opportunity.
Karo Parisyan is an excellent judo guy. He's actually one of the top judo guys in the world, ranked as high as number 3 in his weight class in the world. He's trains under Karo Parisyan and Jean LaBelle. Excellent grappler, very tough guy with no quit in him whatsoever. The dude is a pit bull. I mean, he really, really is a determined, ferocious competitor. He's got his hands full tonight, though.
You know, it's funny, he was talking about his love for food the other day, and he loves sweets, and he really had, in his last couple of fights, trouble with waiting till the last minute to cut some weight. He avoided that this time, and because of that, feels like he will be more explosive and more powerful this evening than even we have seen him in explosive times in the past.
Well, absolutely. I mean, a lot of guys get by on talent, and they have a bad diet, and that talent carries them through. You know, they change that diet when they become really serious, and at the top of the UFC is the top of the heat. You can't sacrifice anything. You have to have everything in order. Your diet, your training, your conditioning. And Karo Parisyan is stepping up and becoming a real mixed martial arts professional fighter. And diet's a part of that.
Karo the Heat Parisyan set to face off against Chris Lights Out Lytle here tonight inside the Mandalay Bay Event Center. Bring on the heat.
And we're really, Joe, when you look at it, the man who wins this fight takes that next step up the ladder because they've met at this point against each other, and now Chris Lights Out Lytle comes in with really, I think, a common misconception, and he's talked about it a lot, that he's just a boxer. No, really, he's a grappler who more recently has learned to use his hands very definitively.
He's not just a grappler, he's a very, very good grappler. He has excellent techniques, great chokes, good positioning, choked out Ronald Judd with an excellent guillotine that was a rolling guillotine, and as he was rolling, he improved his position constantly. He's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in mixed martial arts right now. He's got a very, very well-rounded game. Excellent hands, excellent ground skills, very tough guy, disciplined. I mean, I'm looking forward to this fight. This is one of my favorite fights of the evening.
Well, he has won 4 of his last 5 fights overall by submission. So Lytle very well versed for tonight's matchup against the judo master, Karo Parisyan.
Our tale of the tape for this welterweight fight. Karo the Heat Parisyan, 22 years old. Chris Lights Out Lytle, 30 years old. Everything else virtually identical. With the official introductions, here's the veteran voice, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, the fighter standing to my left. This man is an expert in the highest in grappling fighting systems. He holds a mixed martial arts record of 20 wins with 3 losses. Standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, he weighed in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of North Hollywood, California, please welcome Karo the Heat Parisyan. And now introducing his opponent standing across the octagon. This man is a boxer and a jiu-jitsu fighter. He holds a mixed martial arts record of 27 wins with 10 losses and 4 draws. Standing 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Indianapolis, Indiana, please welcome Chris Lytle.
Our referee for this welterweight matchup here this evening at the Mandalay Bay Event Center is Mario Yamasaki.
There you go. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Parisyan and Lytle, who will bring the heat? Parisyan. Lytle ducked under.
Karo Parisyan throws haymakers. He's a wild striker, very unorthodox.
That's the one thing that Nick Diaz talked about in fighting against Karo Parisyan, that almost he's tough to train for, Joe, because he brings the expected, so you almost have to expect the unexpected.
He's not really a striker, but he's not afraid to strike. I mean, he can punch hard, but he just throws wild punch. Oh, whoa, leg lock.
Looking to finish.
Swapping leg locks here.
Oh, nice
Chris
punch
Lytle
by
might be in
Lytle.
trouble, because let me tell you something, Karo Parisyan has excellent leg locks. He's out of it.
Karo Parisyan, favorite technique is the armbar, but the leg locks, as you talked about, great submissions, really, when you look at his skills.
And now's a dangerous time for leg locks while they're both dry. Once they get slippery and they get wet from sweat, then they can get out of stuff a little easier, but now it's dangerous. Karo Parisyan is very well known in the grappling community for his leg locks.
Karo the Heat Parisyan earned 8 of his first 10 wins in his MMA career by submission. He's an outstanding grappler.
Chris Lytle's doing a good job of defending himself from punches from the bottom, working the open guard. He's throwing some legs up. Looks like he's trying to secure an arm.
Well, this is where Lytle, as you said, as a grappler with a jiu-jitsu background, is not uncomfortable.
He's a very, very well-rounded fighter.
Yes.
Like I said, probably one of the most well-rounded guys in the game. Very good at defending himself. You're not going to see him make any stupid mistakes and open up and let Karo lift up and start unloading on him. Very good at keeping Karo's hands in check. Keep him occupied the whole time. Nice elbow at Karo. Great flexibility, too.
Karo really starting to grow as a mixed martial artist. One of the few guys now, modern day, that we say has judo as their primary. Because still, as you know, Joe, these guys still have a primary. They have secondary, third, fourth, and fifth now, but they still have a primary discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. Eventually, it's all going to be mixed martial arts. But
Absolutely.
at this point in time, yeah, Karo is one of the few guys that has one real primary sport or primary discipline that is his best. He's not really a great striker, even though he will strike. But he's a fantastic judo guy.
And he can finish, right? Yes, right. Yep. Now remember, we have to continue the action when it's on the ground, so Mario Yamasaki stands the fighters up.
This is Chris Lytle's world right here. Chris can avoid the takedown. Nice knee. Very good knee to the body by Chris Lytle.
Parisyan ducks under. Lytle pulls him down into his guard.
Lytle's looking for an arm triangle right here. He's a little too high on the head. He's going to have to figure out a way to get his body down, but he does have a full guard. If he can keep this position, he lost it. He's rolling over. Looks like he's trying to secure that same arm. What he wants to do right now is he wants to get his left arm and wrap it around Karo's right, securing it in place so he can throw that leg over the head. he lost.
Both men have a lot of respect for each other. Parisyan saying this week that he feels that Chris Lytle's a class act. Loves everything about him, loves his skills, likes him as a person, but these boys are trying to move up the ladder, and that means you throw the elbow, you throw the forearm at your guy if you want to move up.
Very nice
use of the
inside
forearms.
elbows.
That's Randy Couture 101.
Yeah, Chris took some shots there.
Parisyan trying to impose his will on Chris Lights Out Lytle. Lytle, father of 4, Indiana fireman, still working 24 hours on and 48 off, and finding time to be a boxer and a world-class mixed martial artist in his spare time.
Pretty impressive with 4 kids.
Oh. Oh, just missed there. Parisyan really turning up the heat. Again, no pun intended, but really turning it up here in the first round. Lytle had a little control for a moment, and now Karo Parisyan trying to leave an indelible impression in the judges' minds for the first round of action here.
It's going to be very hard for Chris Lytle to do something unless he sweeps him. Karo's making it really rough for him on the bottom.
Scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds, in the first round about to come to conclusion. Karo Parisyan doing a nice job in round 1. Chris Lytle will try to make some adjustments.
Let's not play that waiting game.
Let's take a look at that inside knee. Let's take a look at the replay.
You go right across the ring at him. Okay, with your hands
Chris
up,
Lytle's world is standing up. Much better stand-up fighter. There's a nice knee to the body. Karo drops down. Goes for a takedown. I'm kind of surprised Chris Lytle didn't try to initiate the stand-up fight more and move away from him. Maybe he wants to prove something and try to submit Karo.
Let's back his ass up this time, okay? Okay. Back him up. Straight off the bat. I don't want you sitting there waiting. Maybe start off with the Patterson hook. Patterson, right uppercut, left hook. But you go at him, okay? You go at him. You go at him. Come on. Go at him.
And the corner of Karo Parisyan.
Okay.
Second round set to begin. And here we go. Let's see if Lytle tries to. Yeah.
This is Chris Lytle's world.
Yeah,
if he can move away.
Patterson.
Nice. If Chris Lytle can move away here and keep this fight on the feet, he's got a distinct advantage over Karo.
Parisyan ducked under that right now. He's got the big throw.
Beautiful judo throw.
Wow.
That's real judo.
Landed him on his head.
That just goes to show. I mean, you don't see that very often in mixed martial arts, but when a guy's really good at it, that stuff works.
2004 Olympic qualifier, ranked 3rd in the country at 178 in judo, and you saw, I mean, we talked about it in the first round, Joe. That was judo 101 right there.
Yeah, he's got beautiful use of the hips, beautiful throws.
Judo is so much, as Karo has kind of taught me, so much more technique than it is strength. It's technique, it's flexibility, it's positioning of the body, and then going ahead and rolling with the flip as opposed to the wrestling takedown, which is a lot of times that brute strength.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's beautiful. And you know what? It's very humiliating. You get judo tossed like that, and you just feel kind of stupid. You land on your head, and the guy's on top of you. You're like, oh man, did that just happen on TV? And believe me, that takes a lot out of a guy. A common takedown, a regular double leg, that happens every day. You get judo tossed, you know that's going to make the highlight reel.
That happens every day to you. And
he's working him.
Yeah. Very red-faced now is Chris Lytle. And really he's just trying to affect the breathing by pushing and shoving. Now they will have to keep moving. Or they'll come back up. Yep. Yeah, right there. Mario Yamasaki right on top of it.
Him up quick.
That puts some gas out of Chris Lytle. He dumps under. And Parisyan's expecting that right from Lytle, and they dumped right under. There was no pause in engagement there.
Chris Lytle is a very good guillotine. That's what he finished Ronald John with, and he's trying to roll him over with it right now. But he used it at least to get on top. Use it as a sweep. Now he's got to pass Karo's guard and see if he can inflict some ground and pound of his own. He's got to get past that right leg. He's got past it. Now he's going to sneak out his own right leg and look to get into side control or possibly the mount. onto Chris Lytle's right leg. Now he's out. There he's got north-south position. Karo's up. Good job by Karo. And judo toss. Wow. See how he just rolls so smooth? He's like water. Beautiful judo. He used the exact same technique on Strasser.
So patient, Joe, and then so explosive.
Instinctive. He knows when he's in the position, he feels the weight in the right spot. Woo, he just goes.
It's almost, if you want to make the comparison, it's almost when Shaquille O'Neal feels a defending center on his hip, he knows he's got him, he turns, he explodes, and he throws it down, and that's exactly what it was. It was another throwdown for Karo Parisyan, who has a definitive advantage on the scorecard.
I think judo looks a lot cooler than basketball, no matter what you call it.
I was setting myself up for you to say exactly that. Or maybe setting you up to say exactly that.
Yeah, there's a big difference between a three-pointer and getting dumped in your head.
I was just throwing a little Shaq in there because Shaq Daddy's a good fan of our sport.
Daddy is, and a good man.
Yeah, there you go. That was my comparison, brother.
Imagine the guard that guy would have.
Oh, are
those
you
legs.
kidding me now? And the reach.
Karo Parisyan living up to his nickname of the Heat, putting a lot of pressure on Chris Lytle. Constantly makes you work. Always on top, punching and pounding. It takes your heart away.
Two extremely classy young men who really want to continue to improve. Lytle a bit older, 30 years old, but Parisyan just at the beginning of the mountainous climb that he could potentially be on at 22 years of age.
Karo looks like he's looking to pass Chris's guard now. He's in half guard. They're battling it out. Okay, Chris looks like he's working a sweep here. It's going to be very difficult to sweep Karo with a butterfly sweep from that position. Lets you really get a hold, secure one of his arms, and take away his base. His base is excellent. And as soon as he feels that, I mean, because of his judo background, he's got such excellent balance and poise in his positioning. He knows as soon as he feels you going one way, he's going to adjust and bring it back the other way around. Mario Yamasaki doing a very good job of standing these guys up when the action gets stagnant on the ground. Whoa!
Again, you see both of them, they don't even pause. They go right back into it. There's no toe-to-toe. Parisyan continues it, and I hear this phrase a lot in mixed martial arts. It continues to impose his will, Joe. Once again, Chris Lytle, not one bit of breathing room.
Another nice takedown by Karo. Chris Lytle's got to do something to change the course of this fight. He's got to figure out a way to either stand and sprawl and keep it on his feet, or he's got to find a way to get on top and land some punches of his own. Right now, I have it 2 rounds ahead, Karo Parisyan.
The thing when you talk about training and training properly for a fight, the one thing for Chris Lytle, because of the wide array of unorthodox skills for Karo Parisyan, it's tough to find a training partner to assimilate what Karo Parisyan will do to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very hard to find a guy as good as judo as Karo is. Let's go take a look at the replay here and take a look at some of these beautiful throws. I mean, this is just beautiful judo. Swings a leg over, boom, dumps him on his head. Let's take another look at that. That's just beautiful technique. I mean, Karo is probably the best judo guy in mixed martial arts. Wow. Boom, on top of it. And later, another judo throw. Look at this one, smooth as water. Look how he rolls it. Very similar to the one he used on Strasser. And let's take a look at some of those elbows to the face. Karo Parisyan living up to his nickname, the Heat. Just dropping tight elbows.
So Karo Parisyan certainly in control on the judges' scorecards. Third and final round about to begin. This fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Can Lytle stay on the feet a little bit? Try to turn this into a boxing match. So far the answer has definitively been no.
In my opinion, he's got to keep this on his feet. On the ground, he's getting dominated. And then just winging in there with left hooks is not going to be the answer. He's got to keep him away. And as Karo Parisyan's coming in, he's got to catch him. Oh, Karo throws, too. He's just so wild, you know? He just doesn't mind getting hit, and he's just such a tough dude. Just comes in swinging. Again.
And there it is. Now that's where the spirit continues to be broken down. Because Chris Lytle knew he had to try to do something early on when they were on their feet here at the beginning of round 3.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do enough here just by holding in the butterfly guard and keeping his hands up. Karo's going to continue to land punches. I mean, they might not be devastating, but they are scoring points, and he is clearly in the advantage position. Karo just gives you no breath, just gives you no room. Constantly pounding, peppering away with elbows.
It's a different takedown technique than that utilized by our welterweight champion, Matt Hughes. But once they get to the ground, it's kind of that same result because that's what Hughes does. He just continues to bring it in, bring it in, bring it when he brings you to the ground. Not a toe-to-toe fighter. Hasn't gone for a multitude of submissions, but just continues to punish.
This is really desperation time for Chris Lytle. He needs something big here. He needs a knockdown. He needs to really punish him in this round to score at least a 10-8 to just bring the possibility of a draw. Because right now, he's in a bad spot. Karo's winning this round. Oh, a nice sweep by Chris Lytle. Now he's on top, and not for long. Karo's up, and Karo takes him down. You say, no. I don't think so, dude.
And you almost can see the expression, and some of it certainly is fatigue, Joe, but the expression on the face of Chris Lytle, almost like when Tito Ortiz was taken down and down and down continuously by Randy Couture for 25 minutes. Man, what can I do? I can't stop this.
It's very hard to be on your back in a fight like this, especially taking punches. You got the guy's weight to contend with. He's on top of you. He can relax. Even when he's relaxing, you're still feeling his weight. And Karo doesn't give you any room to relax. He's constantly throwing punches, constantly throwing elbows. And they're not devastating. He's not killing them, but it's enough to really frustrate Chris Lytle and completely take him out of his game.
2.5 minutes remains in the third and final round. Welterweight matchup, Karo Parisyan, Chris Lytle. And now he has side control.
Chris is doing a good job of bringing him back to the guard, but he's got to do more than this. He's got to, at the very least, he's got to get to his feet. He's got to try to sweep him, but in my opinion, he should try to kick him off, get some feet underneath him, push him off, scramble to his feet, and try to use his hands. That's where he's got the best advantage. Karo's not letting him up, though. Mario Yamasaki is taking a good look at them. If we don't see some action here, I have a feeling he's going to stand them up again.
It's almost at this point, Joe, like the only thing that can do it for Lytle is a knockout, because if they get back on their feet, that's the chance he may have. Certainly hasn't had a chance to try to submit his opponent, and Parisyan continues to throw down the right. None of them really landed, but then he uses that hand, gets that hand over the mouth, affects the breathing of Chris Lytle.
Yeah, he lives up in the heat, like I said. Nice pass, side control. He's got a head and arm choke.
Can he finish a fatigued Chris Lytle here?
You know what? He very might well be able to.
Lytle's
Doing a good job of defending. Karo's got an arm. To his credit, Karo, even though he's ahead, is looking to finish this fight. Just a minute to go. What looks like a very clear-cut decision for Karo Parisyan, unless we see a miracle happen in his next minute.
So he will edge his way up behind the St. Pierre's, the Triggs, and the Hugheses. Take that next step up the welterweight ladder. Karo the Heat Parisyan. 34 seconds remains in the third and final round. And Lytle's skills have been nullified here tonight. Just the beginning of what should be an electric evening here at the Mandalay Bay Event Center in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada.
Karo Parisyan really just putting on a clinic.
And there's the final horn.
Very impressive performance by Karo Parisyan. Took Chris Lytle completely out of his game, dominated him from the top. Beautiful judo throws. Let's take a look at some of those judo throws from the second round. I mean, just excellent, beautiful technique. Let's take a look at the replay right now. Now here's those beautiful throws from round two. Boom! Just dumps him on his head. Pure technique. Just excellent control, excellent balance. Here's the second one. And let's take a look at another takedown in the third round. A sweep, and then immediate reversal by Karo Parisyan. This is a dominant performance by Karo.
Karo Parisyan, as I mentioned, I talked to him earlier this week. He was calm, he was cool, he was collected. Just thrilled to be back here again. Started fighting at age 16, had 20 fights under his belt in his first 5 years, and big victory against Chris Lytle, who was on a bit of a meteoric rise with his impressive victories over Tiki and Ron Jun. And as you said, the one thing that you really appreciate is Karo Parisyan in the third round still, even though he was in full control, trying to finish the fight and not go to the judges' scorecard.
Yeah, there's no dog in Karo. I mean, that guy is never going to quit. I mean, he's constantly looking to finish the fight, constantly looking to get you out of there. He never relaxes and says, I'm ahead of the scorecards. He's always trying to win. Very, very ferocious competitor.
Let's get the official word from Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges have scored this bout 30-27. For the winner, Karo the Heat Parisyan.
So as expected, Karo Parisyan dominates the judges' scorecards, and he is victorious. Here's Kerry Kasem.
Congratulations, Karo. That was awesome. It seemed like all your throws and your takedowns really worked for you tonight. But I've heard you say in the past that you don't really come in with a game plan. Was that your game plan for Lytle?
He's a better striker than I am. He has better hands, so I just want to take him down, ground and pound. And if he gave me the opening, I was just going to go for a submission. But he's a slick guy, man. He's a veteran, so he didn't give me the openings, but I still took it to him, and I got the win, thank God.
All right, we're going to go to a replay right here. Tell us what's going on.
Basically, I just want to clinch with him and go for my judo throws. And one work over there was real nice. He's pretty agile, but I got my hips underneath him, and he started coming up. I just kept on putting the pressure on him, put him on his back, and worked.
Here's the second one.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones right there. It went pretty well. I'm surprised. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Back to you, Mike.